Well, I want to take you right now to the NDC headquarters. The party is addressing a press conference on judgment debt. We can go over there and hear them, among others.
If we can see that on the screen. If you may recall, Honorable Alhassan Suini filed a question in Parliament on this issue. And the question was to the effect, he asked the Minister for Finance which independent power producing companies have received payments from the government of Ghana for excess capacity charges, and how much was paid to each company in the last 4 years. Let's see Kenovoriata's answer. So Kenovoriata says that $937.5 million. And the money went to 3 companies: AXA $347.20 million, Car Power $359 million, SemPower $231.30 million. Now, this is payment in excess capacity charges according to the finance minister over a 4-year period. Now, when you divide this by 4 years to get the annual, average payments, you get $234 million US. So they claim that the Akufo-Addo government has been paying $1 billion US every year in excess capacity charges. It's not true, because per Kenovoriata's answer, it comes down to just $234 million US. But ladies and gentlemen, not all that amount constitutes excess capacity payments. And I'm going to explain that to you. It is worthy of note that about $200 million of this amount, this $234 million per year, constitutes the 20% standard reserve margin of ECG, which is a necessity and not excess capacity. So ECG is supposed to have a reserve margin of 20% of electricity they use. So that 20% reserve margin is like reserve players on the bench of any team. Those reserve players on the bench of, say, any football club are there for a purpose. I don't want to say phobia. I don't want any trouble with fabulous fans. You know that every team, plays with 16 players, 11 on the pitch and 5 on the bench, except for tournaments where you have 18 players, right? Now, the players on the bench are not excess. They are a necessity, because they can be called upon to substitute those playing at any given time. So you cannot describe them as excess. Now, we've shown you that per Kenovoriata's answer, the amount of money we are paying in excess capacity charges averagely per year is $234 million. Now, out of that figure, $200 million of that is the reserve margin of ECG, like the 5 players on the bench of any football team. That is a necessity that they are required to have. You cannot describe that as excess capacity charges. The remaining $34 million worth of power would have been wiped away or wiped off if VALCO, only VALCO, had been revived by the Akufo-Addo government, or even if the AFD funded 330 kV transmission line project from Ghana to Burkina Faso, which was commenced by the ex-Wal NDC Mahama administration, and which would have ensured an increase in the exportation of power from 100 megawatts to 200 megawatts to Burkina Faso alone, not to talk of other Sahelian countries, had been completed by this government. The question we want to ask those who keep disturbing our ears with this propaganda about excess capacity charges is, why has the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government extended the duration of the Car Power PPA executed by the NDC Mahama administration from 10 years to 20 years, and the duration of same power from 5 years to 10 years, if the claim about excess capacity charges is true. Only recently, the Minister for Energy, Matthew Poku Prempeh, asked for Ghana to increase its generational capacity. As we speak, a steel manufacturing company in Ghana, located in Pampram, and I'm told they are the biggest in Africa at the moment, B5 Limited, is operating at 30% capacity due to lack of power. Where then lies the claim that Ghana is paying for power we don't need? Friends from the media, even if the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government thought that the country did not need the 107 megawatts of installed capacity the GPGC EPA was supposed to provide, or that the country could not export same for revenue as the Mahama administration had planned, the wisest thing for them to have done was to have negotiated and deferred the implementation of the agreement, just as they claim to have done in the case of 4 other PPAs. Terminating the agreement on the basis of fictitious and contrived claims, which they knew could not be sustained and could potentially occasion a judgment debt and financial loss to the state, was not an option. After all, the maintenance and performance of the agreement would have cost the nation only $99.6 million US, with a possibility of the state exporting same for revenue. In conclusion, and as I've already demonstrated with indisputable facts in my presentation, Ghana has been slapped with this judgment debt of $170 million as a result of the reckless and wrongful termination of the GPGC EPA by the Akufo-Addo government and their sloppiness and incompetence in defending same at the arbitration and in courts. The then Minister for Power, Boachie Agyarko, who wrote to terminate the agreement, and his deputy at the time, knew and actually conceded that they have no legal basis to terminate the agreement the way they did. They very well knew that terminating the agreement that way could potentially occasion a financial loss to the state. Yet, they did so willfully, knowing very well what the consequences of their actions were. They failed to take advantage of the opportunity they were offered by the company to remedy the situation or reinstate the EPA as they themselves had promised. This is why the wrongful termination of the GPGC EPA by the Akufo-Addo government and the avoidable financial loss it has caused the nation is unpardonable. As a party, we are very sad that all of us as Ghanaians will have to cough up this colossal amount of money, $170 million, which is equivalent to 1.2 billion cedis, or 10.2 trillion old Ghana cedis, and which accrues interest daily, compounded on a monthly basis. This colossal amount could have been channeled into the constructions of thousands of dormitories and classroom blocks to end the obnoxious double-track system which is undermining the quality of secondary and tertiary education in the country. Or could have been channeled into the provision of hospital beds and other facilities to end the much-dreaded no-bed syndrome, which is claiming so many precious lives. Alternatively, the huge sum of money could have been used to build roads and for other useful projects that would have created jobs and improved the well-being of Ghanaians. The perpetrators of this evil must not go unpunished. The NDC, ladies and gentlemen, hereby calls for investigations into the circumstances surrounding the unlawful termination of the GPGC EPA, particularly the alleged so-called recommendation by the Ahenkra Committee for the termination of the said GPGC EPA, which in our view raises issues of fraud. We also demand that all officials of the Akufo-Addo government who were directly or indirectly involved in the processes leading to this huge financial loss to the state are held responsible and punished for same. But in the likely event that President Akufo-Addo, the mother serpent of corruption, who is himself complicit in this matter, fails to act, a future NDC government will investigate this matter and ensure that those responsible for the wrongful termination of the GPGC EPA and avoidable judgment debt and financial loss it has caused the nation are brought to book. We thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's coming to you live from the NDC headquarters, and they've been addressing the judgment debt, $170 million there. You've heard all that they had to say about it, and trying to reach our correspondent on the ground to get more information on the ground. We'll do that shortly.